Hi guys, Amaris here. Today it's about Half-Life 2, the best game ever made. Well, for sure, it was the best in 2004, but since then a few other best ever games were released. Even so, for Windows 98, Half-Life 2, it was and remains definitely the best game with native support. As advertised on the box, Half-Life 2 opens the door to a world where a player's presence affects everything around him. Just watch how the burning zombie is too close to a fuel barrel and this will end with an explosion. In 2007, Steam ended support for Windows 98, so officially Half-Life 2 can't be played anymore, even if we have the original installation disk. Maybe then an older unofficial release, let's call it that way, will do the job. Well, that's what I thought, but it looks like the Vengeance release that's available online won't install with Windows 98. The installation ended with a decryption error. I researched this error and it's everywhere, and it looks like this is not the way to get Half-Life 2 running in Windows 98. Well, another solution would be installing an older Steam emulator, but I just want to double-click Half-Life 2 icon and start the game. This would feel right in Windows 98, so I looked for a portable variant of the original release from 2004. And guess what? I found one. This is the original release, version 21.87 from November 2004. And it was just copied on a SATA drive that will be in touch with Windows 98 in a moment. But before testing Half-Life 2, let's talk about hardware. Well, it's the same Intel 13th Gen configuration that is in charge with Windows 98 on this channel. This time it's paired with an Nvidia 17900GS GPU featured in my last video. There were a few comments mentioning that this card is an overkill for Windows 98. Well, it's not. If we want to play Half-Life 2 with everything maxed out. Meanwhile, let's change the wallpaper to match the story of our video. Megan, my dear, you're fired. Also, I guess it's time to finally use more RAM in Windows 98. 512 megs is actually the recommended amount of RAM for Half-Life 2, and so far I didn't feel that more RAM was necessary, but this time let's use the maximum amount, which is about 1.8 gigabytes on this motherboard. Well, with this much RAM and a powerful GPU, I think we are ready to enjoy the DirectX 9 stunning graphics that are advertised on the box. But will the game finally run in Windows 98? It should, especially if we use the minus Steam argument along the proper executable. And here we go, stunning DirectX 9 graphics. Our GPU was released in 2006. I think it's safe to max everything out, although anisotropic 16x filtering will hit some serious frames without giving much back in return. Now let's make a quick tour. I didn't check the frame rate yet, but it looks to me that we are easily over 100 frames while running in Full HD. Not at all a common resolution in 2004. But the game was ahead of its time and offers wide screen support for all aspect ratios. The original version has no HDR support. So what happens if we are looking into something like a source of light? This is a good place to check since we have water and sun. Well, if we look at the sun, there is something quasi HDR happening. Some people actually prefer the original aesthetics. Overall, I think the original 2004 version looks amazing and it's totally immersive even 20 years later. Nowadays, games are consuming like 20 times more data and 5 times more power to deliver. Okay, better graphics, but let's face it, It's not like today's games are from a completely different league. Maybe that's why Half-Life 3 is not coming yet. Now let's do some benchmarking. Half-Life 2 doesn't come with any demos packed, but surprisingly, the demos used by AnandTech in 2004 for their benchmarks are still downloadable. All I had to do was to copy these demos inside the HL2 inner folder, and it worked like a charm. This GeForce 7900 GS was released just 1 year and a half later after the big AnandTech late 2004 Half-Life 2 benchmarks, where ATI Radeon X800 XT was the star of the show. And what can I say? This 2006 Nvidia card, it's a beast on this configuration when running in Full HD with everything maxed out. Let's take a look. I added a CL show FPS command to see the frame rate in real time. This setting alone will eat about 3 frames. So we get about 115 frames with everything maxed out, 6x anti-aliasing, and 16x anisotropic filtering. With just 3 linear filtering, we get about 130 frames while keeping everything else maxed out, and we have to take a good look to observe any difference. Now, how about running Half-Life 2 in Windows XP using the very same hardware configuration? All it takes is a restart since this is a multi-boot setup. After all, Half-Life was a Windows XP game and Nvidia GeForce 7900 GS was released in 2006 when the market share of Windows XP was like 80%. Not to mention that Windows XP has multiprocessor support, and if you take a good look in the top right corner, you will see there 8 CPU listed. So let's run again the same benchmark. Well, we do have 1 or 2 more FPS, but it looks like the original Half-Life release is not that impressed by Windows XP. How about Windows 11? And yes, all it takes is another restart. But wait, is this 2006 GPU even compatible with Windows 11? Officially is not, but there is a Windows 8.1 64-bit signed driver that somehow is getting along with Windows 11. This ancient version of Half-Life 2 has also no problems with Windows 11. As you can see, the 7900 is running in Windows 11, but let's say that something is holding back the driver. To be fair, I didn't do much fiddling, maybe trying another driver. I checked, the vertical sync is off. Anyway, now you got the chance to watch again the same benchmark, but this time the frame rate gets more cinematic. It's like it's not the same benchmark. Maybe it's one of those cases when Windows 11 will definitely slow you down. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.